Hey, motorcycle and power sports news fans, welcome back to Chic Shifts. I'm Randy Lozier, publisher of MPN, and today, again, I'm with my friend Sean Rucker from SportBike Chic. Our topic today is entrepreneurship, and you have one of the more unique entrepreneurial journeys. You're a consultant in the medical field, you're ex-military, and now you have this line of apparel and fashion. Talk to me a little bit about what it means to be an entrepreneur.
You know, being an entrepreneur is really just about, having your own business. That's one part of it, but there's a whole aspect of it. It's one thing to have your own, but then is it working, right? Are you able to pay the bills? Are you able to generate revenue? Are you able to put products on the market? Are you able to do product launches from start to finish, do the research? There's a lot that was involved in it. And when I first started this journey, I just wanted a pair of pants. I wanted my purse out.
Right.
So when I looked at all the things that was really required in order to, fulfill this journey, it was a lot more than I realized. There's so much more to this whole journey of entrepreneurship than just putting some pants out there, because you have to make sure you find the quality manufacturers, you find the quality support when it comes to marketing or social media or whatever the case may be, or advertising. There's funding, there's financing, there's also, those other little pieces, logistics, shipping, timetables, communication to customers, getting in touch with people, finding customers. When my mom asked me years ago, right around the time when I first started, and I wasn't sure about it. So I said, I listened. I was talking to her about it. And she asked, well, how are people going to find you? And I'm like, who's worried about that? You just build it and they'll come. This is not the way it works, okay? I assure you. You don't just build it and they will come. But you do have to take care when trying to find your audience and trying to be a part of the motorcycle community at one point or at the same time, because I am. I've been a part of this community for the last, 15 years. And I think one thing that I didn't necessarily do, and I'm not the greatest, but I do work on getting better, is promoting the brand consistently. But I always make sure that I have the gear on,
Sure.
that I have the bike, so that if nothing else, it starts a conversation and it allows me to kind of discuss, hey, what's going on here? Oh, that's SportBike Chic. This is what's happening. This is what I do. But I think with the journey altogether, just being able to understand all that it takes to really build a brand, to have a brand, to look at the business aspect, how to grow. I think there's a lot that's really involved, and sometimes I have to make sure that I get out of the day-to-day and have an assistant in place to do all the little minor things so that I can focus on actually how to build it. Because again, I'm still working full-time. It's something I absolutely love, but it's definitely separate from what I'm doing here. So this definitely lends itself to who I've become, and the decisions I'm able to make, the things that I've learned along the way about business, about how things work, about, even some of those smaller things like shipping and warehousing and manufacturing things and product launches, that I never would have really gotten that experience in corporate America unless I actually had taken a completely different path. And so this allows me to still grow in a way that I wasn't necessarily going to grow before.
Sure. So how did you get here? I mean, at the end of the day, you're not the traditional entrepreneur.
Nope.
Did you have a manual? Did you have a mentor? Did you just figure it out on your own? Let's get there. How'd you get here?
Did I have a mentor? So I had all kinds of people that I tried to call upon. I tried to find mentors and all, but nobody was really doing a lot of motorcycle gear for women, right? This is a very, very specific niche. So having someone who's done it, there aren't a lot of people that did it. Now I found a couple of people who had done fashion before, and they can tell me about some of the blueprints for having and making sure you have the patterns in place,
Sure.
Making sure you have some of the tech packs in place, yes, but I had to look at different people along the way, depending on what aspect of the journey I was focusing on. So sometimes it did have to be about fashion itself. Sometimes it did have to be on what the website looks like with the feel in that. Sometimes it did have to be on logistics and understanding about exports and importing, so that, everything works okay with that. And then there are other aspects about just designing itself, and then with all of that, now I have to work on my mindset to make sure that I'm whole on the inside, that I'm capable of actually attracting all the things I really need to attract and becoming the person I'm meant to become, with any kind of baggage or any kind of doubts or any kind of self-talk that I had along the way, making sure that those were in check so that I can walk into whatever journey, whatever room that I needed to, just as the person I'm supposed to be.
What advice do you have that you can give to someone who's starting this journey and maybe has that great idea, but they're just not sure, all right, what next?
I would say definitely start with a business plan. Business plans are some of the most undervalued things. Yes, they are living documents, but at the same time, it allows you to focus on what the end result is supposed to look like. And then you can work your way backwards along the way. And yes, it's going to change. But if nothing else, going through the process, it allows you to start asking yourself these questions. Like, what does success look like? What is my exit strategy, right? Am I going to sell it? Am I going to stay here long term? Is it going to be to distribute to the world? Is it going to be for the customers? It's really about focusing on that one business plan and then start understanding and asking the questions of yourselves. What do I really expect to come from this, if anything?
Right. Did you rewrite your business plan as you were going, or did you stay true to it and use it as a checklist?
I actually rewrote it a couple of times because when I started before COVID happened, and then I had to go back and revisit to understand, well, if I'm not going to be able to get to my audience because they're not having events now, how do I still pivot and then still be able to reach my audience? So that means I had to focus more so not on traveling to different events, but now I had to look at, well, how do I get there digitally? How do I get access to people digitally? How do I tell them about these products that I'm making for them? How do I get them to appreciate it without the look and feel for it? What do I have to do to my exchange policy or my return policy? What does all of that look like? And so I really had to focus on that digital aspect and that digital footprint.
Your success and your steps, are really inspiring, but there's also failure along the way. So what did you learn from failure during this process?
Don't do it again. Right? But no, actually I really did. So every time something didn't go right, so if I had products that didn't come in as I expected the first time, look, what did I communicate? Because now we're looking at communicating with people overseas, right? We're looking at basic communication. How does it work when there's a language barrier there? Did I explain myself correctly? And I make sure that I look at my part, because it's not necessarily about what someone else did, but now it's a matter of, did I provide the right information? Did I provide the right guidance? And if I did, okay, great. Then, hey, let's talk about this. But if it's not, then what happens? So that means there's an opportunity for me to grow. But now I need to look at establishing the different additional checkpoints along the way to make sure it doesn't happen again. That means processes need to be in place. That means checkpoints. That means videos. That means different samples and tech packs need to be vetted in advance. Different manufacturers have to be vetted in advance. So it's not just, I'm going to find anyone and just start producing. No. I'm looking at quality, I'm looking at consistency, and all the things that are involved when it comes to, sustaining a business. But all those mistakes along the way, it really helped me to grow and establish my own set of guidelines and my own set of standards when it comes to dealing with manufacturers, providing a service to my customers, as well as providing the products to the customers.
So Sean, if members of our MPN community wanted to reach out and talk to you about your entrepreneurial journey or to get advice from you, how would they reach you?
They reach me through the website at www.sportbikechic.com. They can always click on the customer service link, and it goes directly, well, not directly to me, but you get access to me that way.
That's great. Sean, thank you again. This has been Chic Shifts with Sean Rucker. I'm Randy Lozier with MPN. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.